David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar journey is going famously. And today we're continuing on in our lead guitar and soloing strategies lessons, where we're adding cool things to our blues rock, and jazzy kind of playing. And I bet you're not playing this one, this little device and technique arpeggio we're going to do today, and it's going to add so much color to your playing. What am I talking about? I'm talking about adding in to the blues scales and minor pentatonic that we've been doing, adding in with the Dorian mode that we've been doing, but now we're going to add in the diminished seventh arpeggio. That sounds expensive, right? It's really easy, and it's going to really catapult your playing by adding these new colors and textures and sounds, and that's kind of what this series is about. I think I've done 3 lessons in this series so far, 2 or 3. I'll put them in the cards so you can click on them. If you haven't watched those previous lessons, you want to watch those to get a good basis for this. And we're just opening up the doors to all kinds of different sounds, all kinds of different moods, and different things to add color to your playing. Because, you know, everybody's kind of using minor pentatonic or minor pentatonic and blues scales, and they are great. They really are. But why stop there? Why not add some more things to your arsenal that you could choose that will give you some different sonic opportunities? And that's kind of the crux of the lessons in this series. And hey, and then if you want to be notified when we have the next one out, please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel, that really helps us to keep bringing the content, and it also will notify you then when we have a new lesson out. Leave a comment below. Let us know how you like this series, this lessons, what lessons you'd like to see coming up, what gear reviews. If you like the video, share it. Please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for your support. If you remember from the previous lessons, we're in the key of D minor, and to apply all this, we're jamming over a jam track, which is just basically a D minor 7th chord to a G 7th chord. So 1 minor to a 4 major. So we're using a bunch of different scales, right? We're using minor pentatonic and blues scales. We're using the Dorian mode, D Dorian, same as C major. That works over both chords because we have a minor key progression going to a 4 major, that G7 chord, so we want to use the Dorian mode over both chords. And now we're going to use this diminished 7th arpeggio and tie that into the licks. So we're adding all these cool intervals together into the soup to give us these new sounds. Now real quick, just to show you the scales that we're using your basic box shape minor pentatonic and blues scale. Right, we're also using the minor pentatonic and blues expanded 1 scale. Okay, and like we talked about in previous lessons, that scale has that root or 1, flat 3rd, 4th, flat 5, it's our blue note, 5, flat 7. These intervals are important, and I'll explain why in a second. We're also using D Dorian, okay? And that we're using a couple different shapes. Low E string root looks like this. And we're also using it off the 5th string root, off the A string, connecting A string root, connecting them together like this. Okay, and what that does is it adds 2 intervals to the minor pentatonic and blues scales. It adds that 6th, that B note, and it adds that E, our 9th or 2nd, right? So the Dorian is that 1, 2, right? That note, that E's not minor pentatonic. Flat 3, 4, 5. There's that 6. That's hugely important. That's that B note. And there's our flat 7th. Okay, so we get those 2 extra notes. We want to also throw in that blue note, that flat 5, right? That A flat. All right. I don't want to get too crazy on the theory, but I just kind of want to tie this all together so you see where I'm coming from. So you could kind of do similar things like this when you see these intervals match up, like I'm going to show you. The lick I said at the beginning was something like this. All right, and I took that's a diminished 7th arpeggio, and I combined it with the blues scale, and then later I combined it with Dorian, right? That is an awesome arpeggio, and why that works so well is because of this. The diminished arpeggio, diminished 7th arpeggio, has the intervals root or 1, a flat 3rd, flat 5, or diminished 5th, flat 5, that blue note, and on top of that has a flat 7. Flat 7 is the same, is like a flat 7, then you flat it a half step back, that's a 6th. So basically you have the notes in that arpeggio of, you have that blue note, right, that A flat, that flat 5, which is so cool in this scale, but you also have that flat 3rd, which is such a bluesy note, F, and you have the 6th. You have that B note in that arpeggio. So it's awesome. And the great thing about diminished arpeggios, this is the diminished 7th, is basically you're playing a note and it repeats 3 frets or a minor 3rd up the scale. So it's note 3 frets up, 3 frets up, 3 frets up, 3 frets up. Every 3 frets or minor 3rd, it repeats. So it's really easy to find on the guitar, and you get this really cool sound. The arpeggio sounds like this. So I was taking it up the neck, right? So the notes in that, if we play it from the low D, would be D, F, our flat 3rd. There's our blue note, A flat, and our B, our 6th. Right? That's a 6 sounding arpeggio. I love that, right? So if you look at it like this, maybe this will make it a little easier for you to kind of see it on the neck, right? So remember the notes, D, F, A flat, and B. So if we just start here on F and just go 3 frets, right? 1, 2, 3, minor 3rd, there's our A flat. If we're on our A flat, we go 3 frets, there's our B, right? We're on our B, we go 3 frets, there's our D. We go D, there's our 3 frets, we're back to F, F, 3 frets, A flat, C, it just repeats, repeats, repeats. So you get that. Right? Get that high D. That's why I like guitars with 22 frets. 21 frets, you don't get the high D. I love having the high D, so I personally like 22, 24 fret guitars. But you could hear that sound, right? And your ear will get accustomed to that. As a side note, I always say this, one of the best things you could do as a musician, guitar player, develop that ear. Listen for those intervals. It's so important. You'll start to see and hear the whole guitar neck as one big opportunity, one big set of intervals, one big playground, not individual boxes, right? I want to look at the totality of the whole thing. If I play it slow, so you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, that sounds like a cool arpeggio, has some cool notes in it, all the notes that we're kind of wanting to add, but what can we do with it? How can we apply it? Good question, self. Let me show you. Let's do this, right? So you heard me. So I'm connecting it into the blues scale. So basically, if you play it from that D string, right? And then again, you see every 3 frets it repeats. So when I get up to that blue note, A flat, I give it just a little micro bend, just a little character. That is part of, we're right in that expanded blues box. Right? You see that? So you could see that arpeggio. Very easy to connect into this expanded scale, expanded blues scale, right? But we're going to take it a step further and then connect that to Dorian. And hey, if you'd like to see a lot of these scales drawn out on paper, I could totally help you with that. Sometimes it's nice to see them drawn out on paper, to have them there with the video lesson, right? I'll send you my Rock Blues ebook, which is packed. I have like 29 scale diagrams, all kinds of tips and techniques and major minor key stuff, soloing strategies, lessons. I'll send you that and I'll pair it with a video lesson, which will really help you to spice up your playing. So just click on that link in the YouTube description box below. I'll send you the free video lesson and the free ebook from Next Level Guitar. So you can take it straight blues scale, descending. There's that great interval that we love. Great double stop. Right? That's that 13th fret on that C note on the B string and the 14th fret on the G string. But then I go chromatically down the blues scale again. Right? And then we're back in this box. So you get this. Put that all together slow. And we're connecting diminished seventh arpeggio to blues scale. But let's not forget that diminished arpeggio has that sixth in it, right? That flat, flat seven or sixth. So let's add, like I did in the beginning, let's add that B note. So when we get down there, see, now I'm adding that B note, that sixth. I'm taking the 12th fret, slide 13, slide back to the 12th. You can also bend it up from that 12th to 13th. More Dorian. See, I grabbed that E note back at that 9th fret on the G string. So diminished 7th arpeggio. Micro bend, blues scale, descending. Dorian. Dorian. Then I descend down, connecting to that other shape, which is really easy. Whole step, half step. And back up to the root. So we play that whole thing. Bend to the blue note on the G string. To our root. Back to Dorian. And then the last part of the lick I played is I straight descended. Blue scale. Landed on the root, right? There's so much right there. Now you could play. Remember, sometimes you don't want to play your arpeggios all the way down, all the way up. Because it sounds a little sterile, much like you wouldn't play a scale all the way down and all the way up. Good arpeggio playing kind of mixes licks like we were doing before in with the arpeggios, and we're playing the arpeggio notes, licks, scale runs, right? And then throwing all our techniques and nuances, and we're taking the notes and doing interesting things with them. And after you go down that diminished, you could stay in this B.B. King box, blues scale, minor pentatonic and blues, expanded, whatever you call it. But you can stay in there as long as you want. Do use slides to get out of it. What I did there, slid to the 12, slid to the 10, then add that Dorian. See that little half step slide, 12, 13 on the B string. There's our B note. There's our E note. It's a cool lick. Again, there's our B note again. Back to our root note D. Another cool little thing you could do is when you're down after the arpeggio, that's a badass little double stop also. 15th fret B, 13th fret on the F note. So I got my root note and that minor third. Shake it. You get some cool sounding overtones. Into the other double stop. Dorian. Dorian. Blues. Root note. Remember, this is all about putting putting a different spin on your solos and adding something different to give you some different sounds. Have fun with this arpeggio and learn it all over the fretboard, and add it in with your blues scales and in with your Dorian mode. It sounds so killer. Let me know how you like it. Leave a comment below. Let me know what lessons you'd like to see. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when the next lesson is out, as well as that helps us to really bring the content, right? Share the video. We so appreciate your support. Don't forget, also click on that link below to get that free ebook where I diagram out like 29 scales, and also has that free video lesson. I'll send them both to you for free. And if you have a second, I just dropped a new record with my band Mind Cell. Original band, we're based out of San Diego, California. And I'm doing a lot of these techniques and devices in the solos in my original music, so you could check it out in a real musical application. It's streaming on all the major platforms. It's also available in CD, or you could download the whole record. I'll put links to those below. The record is absolute. It's on all the major platforms. I think it's a slammin' record. I'm really stoked and proud of it. Give it a listen. I'd really appreciate that. And let me know what you think. Stay tuned. I got so much more killer lessons and content coming up. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.